What up, Internet Land? This is Zachamus Prime, aka Zachamus Prime, here with another Transformers third-party review. This review is brought to you by titanonetoys because they are the literal best, the very best, the best is best. The figures we're going to be reviewing are the DX9, Hurricane, Plague, and Tyrant. This is DX9's Legends class take on Scourge, Cyclonus, and Galvatron. And these figures are pretty good. I'm not going to say they're like amazing, but they are really good. And if you're collecting Legends class figures, as I am, these are the best ones to get. And in fact, the best versions of the best ones to get, because all three of these figures were released previously. I'm not sure exactly offhand how I know that DX9 did their Worn Pocket figures in 2 packs, and I think that I don't know if each one came with a 2-pack, or if like 2 of them came in a 2-pack together and the third one came as a 2-pack with something else. I don't remember. But what I understand is that this version here, this 3-pack that comes together, the Worn Pocket Return of the Dark Lords 3-pack. This thingamajig here. I understand that these versions have paint differences, plastic coloration differences, and I think they might even have some mold differences. I'm not sure though. I'm not the hugest expert, of the DX9 Legends class figures, though I really wouldn't mind becoming the hugest expert because they're generally pretty great. Anyhow, let's just start with the soap dish. So this is their take on Scourge, the sweeps, and so DX9s certainly, especially their earlier Worn Pocket figures, kind of gravitated more towards a generation style. And I think this one can definitely attest to that. But I mean, it's a really nice figure. It looks really good. He's got these nice looking wings. Very distinctive looking figure. He doesn't have pink claws, but you know what? We can forgive him for that. But just a good looking figure. This is his only accessories, his gun here. Just pops in with just like a simple tag. In terms of articulation, his head is on a ball joint. It will look around and rotate and do all sorts of stuff like that. His arm will go around. It will not go all the way around because he's got this wing thing in the way. You can kind of move it out of the way, but yeah. But I mean, it'll go up and around and go out all the way, even more than a full tree post there. He doesn't have a bicep swivel per se. He does have a ball joint, elbow joint, and so that will allow it to pivot like a bicep. Also bend a little more than 90 degrees. He has a joint here, here, but that's basically for transformation. I can't think of any posable function used for that. He does have a waist joint. That's great. His legs will go forward that much, go backwards that much, will go out for the full Van Dam, like maybe like 105% Van Dam. Elbow joint or knee joint, his leg elbows. His leg elbows go about 90 degrees. I think maybe like 87.62. Close enough to 90 degrees though. We'll go for it. He's got some forward and backwards motion on his ankle. And for the wings are on a ball joint. They'll rotate at this ball joint and go around like that. They're not going to move forward and back a whole lot, but they will bend out and then rotate all the way around. So you can have his wings out, or you can have them like down, or you can just do expressive things with it. There's also a bend here. So you can like kind of like wrap them around them like a cloak, kind of. So so he can stay warm in the wintertime. I don't know. But yeah, he's a pretty decent little figure. The best Legends class representation of Scourge I think we've ever gotten. Not to mention the only Legends class representation of Scourge. But to transform him up, we're just going to take this, and as you bend this up, his head like automatically retracts. No real mystery to it at all. Just this point is this piece is on a different hinge than this piece, so yeah. You're going to take his legs here and fold them outwards, bend his toes together, attach these via that peg there. His arms are going to come all the way around. They're going to fold in, and then we're going to fold in these hands on that transformation joint that I mentioned. That's going to expose a slot on this arm and a tab on this arm. And you know what tabs and slots do. Yeah, they do that thing. And then we're going to take this and we're going to fold this up. And that is going to attach in there like so. Just attach everything in. And that, as they say, is that. Now he is the ever well-known soap dish. And again, he looks really good. Not perfect, but he looks really good. He's got, he's got the right shade of blue. His hands stick out a little bit, but I mean, we can forgive that. There is unfortunately no place to store his gun. I keep thinking it would be great if there was like a way to store it inside here. But then as many times as I fidget with it, I find that there is not. It's really kind of a bummer because I'd love for him to have some weapon storage. I don't know. I do like my weapon storage so long as it's like integrated and cool and not like stupid. I certainly have a number of Transformers that have like stupid weapon storage. Like, hey, we're just going to take the whole weapon and plug it onto the roof. Anyhow, move that guy out of the way. Next, we're going to bring in, okay, Tyrant came to hand, so I guess that's who we're reviewing next. This is their take on Galvatron, and he's got this nice, like, parts of his plastic are kind of this semi-gloss color or like texture, and then some of them are like just like really kind of matte. And I like that differentiation between textures on his plastic. I think it looks really good. This is Galvatron. He doesn't really come with any accessories except for his fusion cannon thingamajig. One thing about him that I wish was better is that I wish that these things tabbed in better. If they did, then this figure would basically be, you know, your Legend scale equivalent of perfect. Got a fairly low kibble svelte look to it. Of course, a lot of that's because his vehicle mode, his cannon mode is a bit more abstract than you'll say, for example, the Fans Toys Galvatron. I guess Sovereign is what they call him. I don't know. A lot of these figures, they've got this thing making the whole like cylinder out of his legs, and this one just doesn't even pretend to try. It just is like, you know what? That's for the other toys. We're gonna do what we do, and I respect a toy doing what it do. But anyhow, so this guy has got a swivel at the head. He's got his arms go out all the way. They will swivel around like so. He does have a double bend at the elbow that starts to bring this kibbly part out. So you may find that you don't like using that. But I mean, it's there. if you want to do it. No wrist swivel here. But he does have the same like peg hole to hold like a gun if he did have a gun. He does have a waist swivel and a nice waist swivelly part. Ball jointed hips. His leg will move forward all the way, back all the way, out all the way for the full Van Damme. No thigh swivel, but he does have a little bit of rotation in that ball joint. And then he has a ball joint knee, which allows for a swivel as well. Also about 90 degrees of bend. And then he's got ball jointed ankles for a little bit of rotation and a fair amount of forward and back range of motion. So a decently posable figure. I kind of wish that he had, I really wish that he had a bicep swivel so that he could, do some good intimidating poses with the old cannon, have his arm sticking out with the cannon on top, which I guess is more of a Megatron thing than a Galvatron thing, but still, I always wish it was a Galvatron thing as well. So to get him transformed up, we're just going to take and we're going to retract down his head and fold his chest down. Let's fold his arms all the way out and detach this cannon for the time being. We're going to bend his waist all the way around. We're going to take this, if we grab this little handle here. Oh wait, that doesn't swivel around. Oh well. This cannon will plug into that nozzle like so. We can rotate down these parts here. We can have his treads facing forward so they don't look so silly. Then take his leg, fold it up, and then break it right here and fold that up. There's a tab right here on the back of his waist. There's a corresponding slot inside, and it will not like to really fit in that slot. It feels like it wants to stick up a little bit further, but I guess having that fit into that slot is essential for having his kneecaps hang down far enough that he makes an appropriate for the back of the cannon mode, so he can like fully canonize, I guess. I don't know. And that is his cannon mode, and it's not the best. I mean, you can look at this and immediately recognize it as Galvatron's ridiculous cannon mode. I mean, his hands stick straight out, his legs stick straight out, his head sticks straight out. But aside from all of that, I mean, it's got a fair amount of, charm to it, I guess. I mean, it's always been kind of a ridiculous, rotate his head around, see if that works any better. It's always been, it doesn't retract it all that way. That didn't work. It's always been kind of a ridiculous figure, a ridiculous transformation. And this, in that regard, nails it. But yeah, that's Tyrant. On to Hurricane Cyclonus. Now, Cyclonus, I believe, was a Target Master in the toy line. And he doesn't come with a Target Master, but this kind of looks like the Target Master, at least the one that came with his Classics version, which in my mind tends to be a fairly definitive version. That's really the only accessory he comes with. And it just pegs right in the same way. It'd be kind of nice if it had a Let me see. We can plug it in that way. What happens if we plug it into the back of his hand? Because there's this like divot right here, and I'm trying to figure out what exactly that divot's for. It's got to have a purpose, right? I don't know. I don't know what his purpose is. But his articulation, he has really just a swivel here, but it swivels quite nicely. Ball jointed shoulders, allows them to go all the way around, go out that much, no swivel there. He does have a ball joint at the elbow, which allows for a faux bicep swivel. This little bit can come off if you're not careful. So let's be careful. Waist joint, hip joint goes forward, back, out for full Van Damme. He's got a cut for a thigh swivel here. Knees bend like hella. No ankle tilt there, so this figure automatically sucks, but it does have toe bendage. And I mean, he's pretty decent. He's got, a pretty decent gamut of joints. That's one of the things that I really like about these DX9, like little Legends figures, is that they've got a good amount of joints. I'm so used to Hasbro being like, well, it's a small figure, so let's not give him knees, or let's not give him elbows, or let's not give him, all these other, like, joints that you really need, I mean, I kind of consider, thigh swivels and wrist swivels to be like a lesser important joint, but knees are an important joint, elbows are an important joint. Like, you can't have a good figure without knees and elbows, and Hasbro is so often willing to just be like, well, let's just not do that. To get him transformed up, we're just going to take this, slide his chest all the way down. This part in the back fold up. There's a peg right here that's going to fit into a hole on the back of his head. Just like so. There are also a couple little alignment tabs on the side that those are going to fold into. We're going to take his legs and stick them together, fold his feet up, bring this all the way around. There's a hole here and a tab here. Put those in, fold down his kneecaps. That'll make like little engine things. There's a tab here on his wrist and a slot there by his leg. We're going to plug those in, and then we're just going to fold up his wrist like that. And yeah, that's literally how his hands go. That's literally just it. I can take this, plug this in right here on his nose cone. And there he is in his vehicle mode. And I mean, from here it looks great. From here you're like, oh man, that's his face and his hands. I don't know which one is more egregious, his face or his hands. I definitely don't want to convey the idea that this figure sucks, because it doesn't. It's actually a really good figure in a lot of respects. It's just, it's a Legends class figure, and you do give it some leeway for a lot of things, because you can't always put the same amount of engineering into a smaller figure as you do into a larger figure. But, yeah. So there we go, this 3-pack here. I like them. I think that they're, I mean, these are easily some of the better looking Legends scale figures of this type that we've ever had. Some of these figures, they're the only Legends class version that we've had. Come to think of it, maybe all three of them, maybe it's the only Legends class figures we've gotten, third party or otherwise. So, I mean, they fill an important niche, but it is really just a niche to fill. I like them though. I can recommend them. Certainly for anybody who's making a collection of Legends figures. These are the ones to get, and the versions of them to get. So go ahead and message up titanonetoys if you're gonna see if he's got any. And I will catch you guys on the flip side. You guys are fantastic. Thank you for watching. You're amazing, and I'll see you.